morning, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Central Oregon, to a national monument that I had never heard of before until I was planning this trip. Everything that we can see in sort of the foreground here, so all of these trees, this mountain that I'm on, this lake, the other lake that's sort of its twin that's over here. This is all Newberry National Volcanic Monument. I think I got that right. I keep getting it confused. So it's Newberry National Volcanic Monument, not Newberry Volcanic National Monument. I have to make sure I get that right. This mountain here is the highest point of this volcano. So all of this is an old volcano that last erupted in 690 AD. It is still considered an active volcano, and it's called Newberry Volcano, hence the name of this park. And this mountain, the top of which is right here, is called Paulina Peak. There is a road that goes up here, but that road closed 6 days ago. And so I hiked 2.5 miles to get up to this spot. You can see there's a big parking area up here. I'm sure it's a nice drive, but I had to make my way up here on foot, which is nice because there's no one else up here. I actually had intended to drive. The hike was 2.5 miles each way with about 1,500 feet of elevation gain. Really nice hike, very pleasant, going through the forest. Fairly steep in some areas, but nothing too bad and certainly nothing scary or dangerous. And like I said, there are 2 lakes. So this is the one, and if we go out onto the edge of the cliff here, we can see the second one right there. So this is called East Lake, and this is Paulina Lake. And this whole thing is the caldera, sort of the crater of this volcano, of Newberry Volcano. And we also have great views up here of some of the highest mountains in Oregon. So over here we have the Three Sisters. That's from left to right, South Sister, Middle Sister, and North Sister. Just to the left of that we have Mount Bachelor, which is a fairly well-known ski area. The town of Bend, Oregon is somewhere over there in the haze. So it's a little bit smoky today from wildfires. Could be worse though. And then over here, if we zoom in, let's see, where are we? That thing right there, that pointy little pyramid thing that is now out of focus. There we go. That is called Three Finger Jack. And then right here we have the second highest mountain in Oregon. That is Mount Jefferson. Mount Hood should be visible on a clear day, but I can't really see it with the haze. It should be over here somewhere. Then also on a clear day, apparently you can see Mount Adams, which is the second highest mountain in Washington, which is over here somewhere. And then also on a clear day, back over this way, you can see Mount Shasta, apparently, in California. Let's hike up now to the actual top of the mountain, to the top of Paulina Peak up there. Elevation up here is just under 8,000 feet, 7,984. So from the summit here, which is actually this rock, I guess we should actually touch the top of it. From the summit up here, it's amazing how many of these smaller cinder cones, these little volcanoes you can see, all of these little humps, these little tree-colored humps, are all little cinder cones. Tons of them. And you actually can see Mount Shasta from here, amazingly. So, let's see, is it this? Or is it that? One of these is Mount Shasta. It's about 160 miles away. It looks much closer, but Mount Shasta is huge. It's a 14,000 foot peak. I climbed it like 15 years ago. I'll put some pictures here if I can find them. Beautiful area, great views, but cold and windy up here. There are a couple other things I wanted to see and show you. You can see from up here a little bit of a lava flow right here. Let's go get a closer look at that because we will be checking that out a little bit later in this video. So this right here is Big Obsidian Flow. This sort of grayish blob is a lava flow that's only about 1,300 years old, so relatively young, well, very young, geologically speaking. Isn't that neat? There is a trail, so the main road through the park, you can see that out here. And so it goes right by the toe of the lava flow there. And so there is a little interpretive hike that we're gonna do later on. I just wanted to show you guys a view of it from up here. And then also, as I was hiking up the mountain, I sort of went close to these pinnacles over here, and I want to go see if I can climb one of them. Maybe one of these right here, or maybe this little guy right here. I don't know, they might be, you know, getting into rock climbing difficulty instead of just scrambling. But let's go see if we can at least get a closer look. We'll go check them out. And I actually have also climbed Mount Hood, the one that we can't really see out there, the highest mountain in Oregon. And I did that just a few years ago, and I did make a video on it. I'll put a link to it down below if you want to check it out. Well, I'm at the base of those two taller towers. This is sort of the cleft between them. Doesn't look too bad until you get to this thing. And I certainly can't go over to the left, but I might be able to go over to the right. I don't know, let's find out. I had to put my jacket on because it's cold up here. It's a chilly morning, especially with the wind. The rock right now is sort of, well, I was gonna say it's sort of blocking the wind, but no, it's not. It's like funneling the wind down. No idea what these little spires are called. They probably don't have a name. I don't think they're really prominent or important enough. You know what? I just might be able to skirt to the right up there. Yeah, this way is no go. Definitely doable if you are, you know, rock climbing, if you have climbing gear. This side, I don't know. Let's keep going. Fairly solid rock. It's not super loose and crumbling like a lot of this volcanic rock often is. Oh, we're totally gonna do this. Let's see. I think we could, which one of these is higher? Let's go for this little spire first. Yes, okay. This is the high point of the lower of the two spires. Now let's go for that one. I think I'm gonna fly the drone, and it'll probably be kind of wobbly because it is windy here today, and the gimbal and the stabilization can only do so much, but it'll still be cool. And you can fly drones here. This is a national volcanic monument run by the US Forest Service, not the National Park Service. So in case you were wondering, it is okay as long as you don't, you know, fly over people or anything like that. Okay, drone is launched. Let's scramble down this little spire. And can we climb this? I think so. I don't see why not. Looks doable. Ow. Ow. Just hit the top of my head on the edge of this pointy rock. A helmet is never a bad idea, but I don't have one with me on this trip. Yeah, super easy, super straightforward. Wow. What a view. Wow. Beautiful. Despite the cold, totally worth the little climb to get up here. What a view. What a fantastic place. This reminds me so much of Crater Lake National Park. Also in Oregon, of course, it's about an hour and a half or 2 hours to the southwest of here. As in Crater Lake National Park, you have this big caldera, this big crater with a lake in the middle, and it's all kind of a collapsed old volcano. It's like Crater Lake, but I mean, there's not really anyone here. Now, during the middle of the summer, this is going to be a pretty popular place for boating and swimming and everything like that, but even so, it won't be nearly as popular or as crowded as Crater Lake National Park. Such a neat place. This, by the way, is Paulina Peak. That's the lookout where I started the video. From here, I'm going to climb back down. We'll meet back up with the main trail, which is over here somewhere. Then I'll follow that down the mountain, sort of down along this wooded ridge, this forested ridge, back to the trailhead, which is out here somewhere. This is the main road. And then we'll drive over to the lava flow that I mentioned earlier. We'll go explore the toe of this big blob of dried up lava. Alright guys, it's a while later. I took my time going down the mountain, but we are now on the Obsidian Flow Trail, number 3958A. Really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Looks like round trip is 3/4 of a mile. Also, there is a little map here that shows the trail is what's called a lollipop loop. So there's a straight section and then you do a loop and then you go back that way. This is neat. There's a stairway, a set of stairs that goes up the side of the lava flow. And speaking of the side of the lava flow, here it is. This is the edge. Imagine being a tree here 1,300 years ago, seeing all the trees in front of you get mowed down, get consumed by the lava, the advancing lava, and then it's stopping like 20 feet from you. Lucky trees. Yeah, it really is odd how it just ends so abruptly. Don't know what I was expecting. I mean, this makes sense now that I'm here, but... Huh. Also, I don't know if you guys will be able to see how shiny this is. Like in person, this is all like glittering out here, and that's because of the obsidian that makes up a good chunk of the lava flow. We can see some of those larger obsidian pieces right there and right there. There's a big blob of it right there. This might sound kind of weird, but I'm always amazed by how many rocks there are in the world. Like, this lava flow is made up of approximately a gajillion rocks. And you go hike up any given mountain, there's another gajillion rocks right there. I don't know about you, but when I think of obsidian, I think of Native Americans prizing it, valuing it for its cutting purposes, like making arrowheads and knives out of it. And that's what this sign here talks about. So they would take a big chunk of obsidian and whittle it down to a core like that. And then when they needed an arrowhead or a knife, they would kind of hit it with another rock and slice off a piece. And then that piece would be further shaped and sculpted into an arrowhead. And this part over here is interesting. It says that the abundance of obsidian drew Native Americans to this area. They would walk for days from their winter camps to gather a year's supply of obsidian from here. This entire blob, this big chunk here, is all obsidian. And on this lava flow, there are probably thousands of blobs as big or bigger than this one. So no shortage of obsidian in this area. Look at this tree here. How difficult life must be for this tree. And you can kind of tell that by just how gnarled the trunk is. Like what soil is this even going into? That's crazy. Oh, and from here we can look up to Paulina Peak. This is the mountain that we stood on top of earlier. The viewpoint that you can drive to under normal situations, normal circumstances, is over there. And then I climbed, I think, the leftmost of those three rocky humps right there, those three rocky towers. I was on top of that one right there. This is a really great hike, especially for being so short, less than a mile. You see some really interesting landscapes, some great rock formations, and this terrain, we don't really get up close and personal with this kind of stuff very often. Hiking through a forest, hiking along a lake, sure, that you can get that anywhere, but this is unique. I like this. This is great. This is an awesome hike to do. Fairly easy hike. It is obviously rocky and bumpy, but if you can handle that, this is a must-do hike if you're in the area. And now we have a quick little 1-minute stroll to a waterfall. I think this is the largest waterfall in the area here. If you remember at the start of the video, from the top of the mountain, we could see the two lakes side by side. This waterfall is basically on the left side of the left lake, just for reference. This is called Paulina Falls. And wow, that is a beautiful waterfall. It's in two parts. There's kind of the left side and the right side. That's gorgeous. And I saw on the sign back here that a 1/4 mile over in the other direction is a lower viewpoint of the falls. Maybe that'll take us down to creek level. I don't know. Let's go find out. It's about an hour later now. I've been hiking on this dirt road for about half an hour. There was a gate back there, so I couldn't keep driving. And I'm now turning onto this little trail that goes down to a creek. So today we've seen a mountain. We climbed a little rocky spire thing. We hiked along an obsidian lava flow, and now we are gonna be hiking along a creek, but first I have to get to the trail that is on the creek. I have to get there first. The trail and the creek that I'm trying to get to are down in here. I can hear the creek, but can't see it yet. The trail is called the Peter Skene Ogden Trail. It is a national recreation trail. It's supposed to be a very nice trail, but it's just a trail that goes along the creek. It's not a loop or anything like that. Hence this business with parking on the road, walking along the road, coming down to the creek. That's all in the effort of trying to turn it into a loop. And so after I hike a handful of miles along the trail and along the creek, I'll have to go back up to the dirt road to go back to my car, if that makes any sense. Okay, here is the creek. Pretty area. I have to cross the creek to get to the actual trail, but I wanted to start hiking here because I saw online somewhere, I think it was on Google Maps, over here, kind of around this corner, it was marked natural water slides. And so let's go take a look at that before we try to cross the river. Also, I'm not entirely sure I'll actually be able to cross the river here. We might have to go up or downstream. The water looks a little bit off color today. It looks a little bit brown. And it is a chilly day, so you probably wouldn't want to slide down these waterfalls. Oh, here we go. It's a pretty little waterfall area. And yeah, slide down right there. Enjoy a nice refreshing dip in the pool. And now that I'm here, hold on, I need to reposition my feet here. I might be able to get across the creek right here. So jump onto this rock, and then some of these rocks, and then that rock, and then the log, maybe? Okay, this is the big leap right here. Wish me luck. Okay. Whew. And then here's a look at the natural water slide from above. Peter Skene Ogden, by the way, who this trail is named after, was a British-Canadian mountain man, and let's see, where do I go from here? An explorer and fur trader in the early 1800s. He eventually worked with the Hudson's Bay Company, and the city of Ogden, Utah, among other things and other places, is named after him. Cassie, my wife, and I got married in Ogden. We lived in Ogden when we were dating and when we were first married. And finally, here is the trail. The plan here is to just walk this trail for a few miles, and in addition to the couple of main named waterfalls that we'll be passing by, there are lots of these little unnamed smaller cascades that are still pretty impressive in their own right. There's that right there, and then another sort of sliding rock area, like a natural water slide spot right there. This is an amazing trail. None of these waterfalls that I've shown you so far are the actual, named waterfalls. These are just random ones along the side of the creek. What a great trail. And we finally made it to camp. It's been a long day. Great day though. I'm about 15 minutes south of Bend, and I ran into town to get some supplies, get some groceries, including dinner. Here's what we've got for dinner. Got a club sandwich on an everything roll and some giant blackberries. I ended up hiking about 2.8 miles of the Peter Skene Ogden Trail, and what a great trail that is. So many waterfalls. I was blown away by how many waterfalls there were, and that was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. I don't know how long the entire trail is. If you do the entire thing, I'll put that on the screen here. And I'll also include the total loop length that I hiked. I probably hiked, I don't know, 6 or 7 miles, I would guess. Or maybe it was 5 miles. I don't know, it doesn't matter. The point is, that was a great hike, and so is the big Obsidian Flow. Again, for being just 3/4 of a mile long, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Great day, beautiful place to explore. The, let's see, I've got to focus again to get the name. Newberry National Volcanic Monument. There we go. Awesome place. Again, I'd never heard of that before, and I've been through this area multiple times. Definitely worth the stop though, definitely worth some exploring. And I'd be interested in hearing what you guys think. If you've been there, what were your thoughts? And how crowded was it in like the height of summer if you've been there? I expect a fair amount of crowds, but again, it really reminded me of a less crowded Crater Lake. Like, you know, there were other people there today, but never more than, 3 cars at each parking area, at each trailhead that I visited. And it was like the same people. Like I'd go one place and then we'd all kind of move to the next place. So there were not many people there today, and that's how I like it. And I hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what your favorite part was. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.